This adventure is a little bit farther away than my normal trip. Matter of fact, it requires one of these. I wonder if you can guess where I am from the statue of this fellow. One of the Apollo 13 astronauts. He ended up being a congressman for this state. Tune in and we'll see where I end up. If the Jack Swigert clue didn't give it away, maybe these mountains in the background behind me will. I'm in Colorado, and I have traveled down for another visit to the American Academy of Bookbinding here in Telluride, Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful little old mining town located about 9,000 feet up in the Colorado mountains. And I'm here to learn all about titling, gold leaf titling on fine leather bindings. I'm here for a week and I can't wait to get started. Well, I'm just about to school. My first morning of class here in Telluride. I'm taking the titling class, as I mentioned. I'm a bit nervous, excited too though. There's some really talented people in this class that are, light years ahead of me in terms of their skills as bookbinders. So I'll learn from them and try to keep up and do the best I can. Here we go. So day one has consisted of learning how to use hand letters when titling. So those are letters that look like this. Individual letters, all made out of brass, so they go through the whole alphabet, and you can also get punctuation, numbers, all sorts of things. Depends how much money you have. These are very expensive, and generally you get them from England. So we spent the day kind of learning this technique, and I've got to the critical part here. I'll show you. So this is a practice book block. It's made out of wood. You can tape your piece of practice leather, and this is the rice paper, Japanese paper rather. So it takes a lot of time to get these images stamped on here, lined up vertically, horizontally, and then we heat these tools up, and we're going to take the tool and press it over top of these guidelines that we've spent all day making. Okay, I'm going to have a go at it and see how it turns out. Okay, step 2 of 4 is complete. This has turned out slightly better than I anticipated. There you can see the impressions in the leather. Been working away all day getting the titles ready. Last thing we just finished doing was applying the glare to the letters that we've stamped into the leather. And you apply glare with this. Yeah, you can't even see the brushes hardly, right? That's because this is a size 0 brush. And you take it and you paint this glare into those letters and nowhere else. And do the whole title like that. It's a little exhausting. Hey, but it's fun. I am not complaining. This is great being here. So next step, we're just waiting for the glare to dry. I've got about another 30 minutes or so, and then we're gonna apply the gold leaf, get the tools heated up, stamp that gold in there, and see what we have. Well, one of the benefits of coming to school here in Telluride is that after a 10 or 11 hour day, hunched over the workbench, working away the tools and the gold leaf, sunken concentration for the entire day, you walk out and you have a view like this to enjoy while you walk back to your condo. Absolutely stunning here just at twilight. I'm not sure how well you can see those mountain peaks, but oh my goodness, it's just gorgeous here. Very invigorating at the end of a long day. These delightful little houses had a kind of a nefarious purpose back in the day. Well, maybe nefarious is the wrong word. But Telluride was a booming mining town back in the late 1880s and 90s. Another of my favorite things about Telluride is that it is the most dog-friendly place I may have ever been. See, there's stinkeroos laying around all over the place. Good morning. People leave water dishes outside their businesses. They sit on the patios and look at this guy. I love this. This is such a cool statue. So here's the progression of our fussing and fighting with the gold tooling. From the top down, you can see how it's improved until we get to the bottom line of MFVF. Now, it's not perfect, but you can see that the gold is stuck where it's supposed to stick, and that can definitely be cleaner, but no tears, that's for sure.
Straight on, so that this is coming straight at you, right? And you have your feet apart a ways, like about shoulder width, and you back up a little bit so that you need to be able to see down here. So if you're right on top of it, you can't see the letters. You have to be able to see what you're doing. You hold the tool so that it's parallel to your shoulders. And you put your thumb on top of it, of the handle, and you stick your elbow way out there. So just think of it as being parallel to this. Right? So it's way out here, like that. And that's the uncomfortable part. It kind of hurts in here for a while, probably more tomorrow. But it's just we're not used to stretching out that far. Okay, so you put the tool where it's going to go. Stick your elbow out like that, and you can just about see the bottom of the line. And it's in the center. You know, it's centered like this. It's not this way or this way. Now, if you can do this, all you have to do is drop your elbow to the right, so, and you hold this stiff, blocked. It doesn't move. So this is not a moving part. This is one unit. All the way to here, which I know is impossible, but, and then if you can keep your shoulder stiff too, not stiff, but just like not moving, all I'm going to do is bend my right knee. That moves, right? Not much, but it moves. Now I can drop my elbow just a little bit if it's not enough. But just think of it that way. And that's where I'm going to start. Now I'm going to just lean on it so that my weight is what's making the impression. And raise my elbow, straighten my knee. Now I'm just back where I started. Drop my left knee, bend my left knee. That's it. It's not much.
Today we are learning how to use type holders to apply the letters to the leather, and it's a whole different ball of wax than using the handle letters. It's a little more complex, a little more finicky, if you can imagine that, but you can do a whole line of type at one go. So we're going to practice that today, and we're just about ready to put some gold on. So we'll have a try at that and see how it turns out. So we've got the words stamped into the leather and the glare applied, and we have to let that dry for an hour, and then we will come back and apply the gold. And depending on how that turns out, I might show you, I might not. In addition to being a great dog town, Telluride has a ton of art galleries and craft galleries and sculptures, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it seems like every second door you come across down the street is another gallery.
No one even needs to be around.
Cats always land on their feet. Oh, I know it was. Yes.
Oh yeah, and there's an awful lot of good pubs, restaurants. Some are restaurants and art galleries. Lots of beautiful outdoor patios. Even this time of the year, it's just absolutely gorgeous here in Telluride. We saw the little houses down the way. Here's a plaque that talks about them, and pretty interesting. 26 saloons, 24 bordellos, 1905. And of course the main reason Telluride existed was mining. So there's the valley. Started around the 1870s or so. And of course there's always issues you have to overcome, but look at the side of that mountain. This is a very interesting structure. Kind of obvious what it might be, right? Well, of course, its location, just down the street from the red light district back in the day, was, well, very strategic, one would think. But it actually doubled as something else. I wonder, maybe there's an opportunity for partnership when I get back home. Oh, goodness. So this was built in 1885 or so. Now the story goes that back in the day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid robbed the bank on Main Street, Telluride. This is my roommate and classmate, Mike Prevette, and we're both a pair of book nerds. And it was kind of lucky, actually. We ended up being roommates because we both like Sherlock Holmes. We both like buying and selling books and binding books. And so tell us, Mike, how were you a collector first, bookbinder first? What did you get interested in?
No, I started out as a collector, and then got into doing repairs on things in my collection, and through that kind of got into making full books, and ended up here at AAB. So
how's that experience for you been, coming to AAB as a student and kind of moving you forward in that bookbinding career?
I mean, it's been a life-changing experience. You know, before I came here, I was self-taught. I taught myself everything that I could through books that I had purchased and so on. So I started looking for places to further my bookbinding education, and there was only a couple of options really, you know, for real serious training in the U.S. here, and one of them, you know, was a program where I would have had to relocate, move there, you know, which really wasn't an option for me at the time. So, you know, AAB was really the only viable option that I had at the time. But once I got here and started taking classes here and found out how phenomenal and how great the instructors are and the staff is, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, there's nowhere I'd rather be learning.
That makes two of us.
So,
tell us quickly about your about Dusty Jacket.
yeah, the Dusty Jacket is the name of my bindery. It's in Kentucky. You know, I've been buying the books for 5 or 6 years now, and really just now getting out, you know, putting ourselves out kind of in the market where we're doing exhibitions and commission bindings for customers and things like that, and it's really taken off. Super busy right now, but yeah, it's been a really positive thing. And again, it's something I couldn't have got to this point without coming, you know, to school here at AAB.
So if I was interested in looking at some of your work, how would I go about finding you online?
A lot of people find us on Instagram. You can just look up Dusty Jacket Books. We also have a website. It's dustyjacketbooks.org. We've got some things on there. You know, the website's kind of new. We're still working on it. You can see a few of our bindings on there. But yeah, we'll be putting more stuff on there very soon, hopefully. So
Good to hear. Well, thanks for being such a great roommate, great classmate. I think we better get back downstairs.
we better.
So with me is the Director of Fine Binding here at the American Academy of Bookbinding, Don Glaister. And Don is a great instructor and has been a part of the school for a very long time. Give us like the Coles notes on the school and kind of what was the idea behind getting it started, and how long's it been going now?
It's been going for like 25 years or so. I should know, but I don't. And it was started by Daniel Tucker, who lived in Telluride, and he's a book artist, and he founded the AHA School of the Story Arts. That's what he called it. And it became the AHA School. Everything was the same, they just changed the name. And he was interested in bookbinding, and so he got Tini Miura, who was a very famous, well-known bookbinder, to come. And he and Tini formed, with Tini's husband Einan, Japanese man. She's Swiss. They lived in Tokyo. It's very international. They formed a school, and they call it the American Academy of Bookbinding after a while. And the AHA school still exists, and it is the umbrella for the American Academy of Bookbinding. And so Teenie then was the director of the Academy for some years, and then she left, and Monique Lallier was director.
A Canadian?
A Canadian.
We'll have to throw that in.
American.
Yeah.
She was director for, I don't know how long, 6-7 years, I suppose. Maybe longer, I'm not sure. And then I became director. Monique still teaches here, and Teenie does not. She is, I think she lives in in California somewhere. I'm not sure.
The level of instructors here is really quite remarkable. I mean, we're talking world-class, qualified people that are, top of their field. That's really a notch in the belt for the AAB.
Well, we try, What I think is interesting about AAB, relative to other institutions that I know about, is that everyone that teaches here is a professional maker. We're not, like, I teach when I come here, but the rest of the year I'm making books. And that's the case with Monique. That's the case with Peter Garrity, who's the director of the Integrated Studies program at the school. And we like it that way. I mean, for me, it's a great thing because I get to do my work like I've always done, but I get to share it too. And when I do that, it really increases the intensity of my work when I get back home. I mean, so it really works.
When I first came here, I had less than zero experience in making a book.
That's not very much.
It's not very much at all. Some of my classmates were more advanced. Mm-hmm. Well, it wouldn't be hard to be more advanced, but had some experience, knew what they were doing, had used the tools, and so on and so forth. But I've received an excellent level of instruction despite my lack of any kind of experience, and that really impressed me about the school, was that someone like myself could come here and leave with a great education, and I've been back many times, and you build on that. But maybe speak to that aspect of the school where someone like me, there's an intermediate person, but we can all come here and kind of take the same class and learn different things.
Well, the class that you started with was a beginning leather binding class, and so the people that were in your class maybe had taken it once or even twice before, which is not unusual. I mean, we recommend people take it more than once, and so we're prepared. People who teach that class. And maybe I'm the only one actually, but I'm prepared for that, for taking people from nothing and through the end of the process, but people who are also have some experience. It's really good for them to do the same thing, because there's so many processes to learn, and because you've done it once or even twice doesn't mean that you picked up every single part of every process, or there's always things to learn. In fact, I'm teaching a class beginning next week that's intermediate advanced class. So these people have done it a bunch of times. They know what they're doing, and I've interviewed everyone by email, and they're all we're gonna do kind of the same format for that as the beginning class, starting with sewing and going all the way through. And these people have done a lot, So it's challenging as a teacher to take the guy who has never done anything, and sitting next to that guy is somebody who's done it 3 or 4 times maybe. But it's challenging, but it's rewarding too. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth meeting the challenge.
So if you could reach out to somebody like I was the first time I came here, what would you say in terms of encouragement or just encouraging them to come and try it?
Well, I mean, I've done this my whole life, and so I obviously have a position on this. But bookmaking, bookbinding, I mean, it's a wonderful kind of, it's a wonderful thing to do, and it's hard to do, but it's not so hard that you can't do it, that you can't have some success and you can build on that success. And it's a thing that it's a serious endeavor, but the classes are fun. Making books is fun. It's hard, but it's fun. And once you've gotten through a 2-week class and you've got this book in your hands that you have made, it's a leather book, and I mean, it's a really cool thing, and it's really rewarding, I think, to like people like you were when you first came. You're very proud of that. I mean, and you should have been, right? Because it's a hard thing to do, but I think that I've taught this classes like it enough, and so have the other people that teach classes here, that we know it's hard, but we also know how to get you through it, and it's worth it. It's really a cool thing, and I've been doing it for 40 some years, and teaching a lot of that time, and it's a really rewarding. It's rewarding as a maker, and it's also rewarding as a teacher. And I know from my time as a student, it's really rewarding as a student, as hard as it is. Yeah.
Well, Mike and I are on our way to class. It's our last morning of class here in Telluride, and this is the little path we walk to get to class. A little stream goes by, so you can see all the trees are changing. It's just beautiful here. Very inspiring place to come and learn your craft. So here's some of the cool tools that we have here at the school. This is aptly called a guillotine. You can cut a lot of stuff with that. This is very tall press. So you can start here, stack stuff all the way up. Don't know that I'll ever have one of those. Here's some more presses for when you need to put the book you're working on into the boards, glued it up, and put it under one of these overnight. This is Mike, what is this? Is this another guillotine, right? So you can You can cut some big text blocks with that, in theory. Lots of workbenches. This is a backing press, if I recall. So you see it has these special little devices, so you can put the top edge of a book in there, or be very kind of precise with that. This is another backing press, and a third one. Again, lots of workstations, all sorts of stuff. Press there, and here is a shear. So you can see the size of this blade. So that's used for cutting boards. Boom. So you can be very accurate with this. I do not have one of these. And you can imagine what the shipping costs would be. More presses. More presses. These are machines that are used for making titles. So you can put them in there and print it all up, and then kaboom, pull the handle, and there you go. You have a label that you can put on your book. And that's kind of the shop that we have here at the American Academy of Bookbinding in Telluride. So this is the final results of our titling exercise. You can see we're going to start at the bottom. That didn't work all that well. Second one was a little bit better. And then that's the one that we are finishing with. And it's hard to kind of get it to reproduce here on video, but there you go. I'm quite happy. And here's the aforementioned bank that Paul Newman and Robert Redford robbed way back when here in Telluride. It's actually 1892, site of the San Miguel Valley Bank, Butch Cassidy's first robbery, June 24th, 1889. Are we stranded?
Yep.
Yeah.
They might
Okay.
just be stopping to let somebody
We
out.
might be in a.
So what do eight bookbinders talk about in the stranded gondola lift in
Well, one
Telluride?
time this summer, the gondola got struck by lightning.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
So it got stuck for about 4 hours.
Wow.
So what happened?
You signed the waiver. I'm sorry. Oh, you didn't see that in the package? Okay, that's it for this episode of Bailey the Bookman. I want to thank all my classmates for such a good time here in Telluride. And where's everyone from?
Minnesota.
Washington State.
Chicago. Texas. Peru.
You.
Arizona!
Teasdale, Utah. Colorado.
Kentucky.
Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.